Hey everybody, I'm Ward and welcome to my channel Wait, is there something behind me? This is admittedly a self-insert that I drew back in 2019 and it's been a long time. I think it's time we give, well, Ward an upgrade. So let's try the intro again. Hi everyone, I'm Ward and welcome to my channel Wardrawsalot, and this week we're going to be redesigning the self-insert known as Ward. So before I get behind the lore of, you know, the OC Ward, first off I want to explain, or I guess kind of encourage others, that self-insert is okay. I find it as an escape, and it's helped me throughout, I think, a good majority of my life. Probably all of it, let's be real here. I think everybody does it to a degree. Authors who write books put themselves into the story, artists who draw put themselves into their art, people who make music put themselves into their music. So self-insert isn't necessarily a bad thing, especially if you use it as an escape or a way to truly bring out your creative or artistic side. Maybe not everybody agrees with that, and that's totally fine. Some people find it cringe, and I do too to a degree, but I still love to do it, and it brings me joy, so why not do it? Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and kind of talk about the origins of Ward over here. So, this OC was created around the age of 10 or 11, just like how Nikki was created around the age of 10 or 11. You see, the OC or self-insert Ward was made so I could feel feminine. Plain and simple. I wanted to be the girl who could be dressed up or feel really pretty or have the feminine side come out of her, and I didn't know how to express that for a very, very long time. I'm talking about a long time. I still have a hard time expressing my feminine side as well. It's something that I've gotten better with over the years and I've learned to embrace, but realistically, I had such a hard time with it growing up. You guys have no idea. Or maybe some of you do have an idea, you know? But it was just something that I had to figure out how to embrace, and eventually I did. But until that part happened, I had the self-insert Ward to kind of push me forward to do that. Now, the issue with that was is even when it came to the OC, it was still difficult to express that femininity there as well, because of the sole fact that I just didn't know how. So over time, she became this, what you see in front of you, this really girly, this really like openly, almost like bimbo-esque kind of character who is just really comfortable with herself and loves what she's wearing and how she looks and all that stuff. So when you saw the 2019 Ward drawing, she looks very not this because, well, 2019 Ward didn't know how to express that yet. And I'm very happy to say that I do know how to express it now. And now I'm more along the lines of, I guess, this character right here. Because Ward is a self-insert, she's going to change over the years. This is like, you know, this is like, of course. If I'm going to be changing as a person, so is the OC. And since I didn't draw that OC in a long time, and I've changed a lot in 4 years, now I can comfortably say that this is what the OC has become, what I wanted to be and look like, and honestly kind of am. So, can you chalk it up to that this OC is a defense mechanism so that I could have built something upon myself? Yes, yes you can. But that's okay. I feel like we all kind of start somewhere and something always, like, kicks off the change. And although this kicked off the change and took a very long time for anything to actually happen, it happened. And this OC was kind of a help along the way. Now that we know she exists, we're going to talk about the fact that she exists and kind of exists with Nikki, the other OC that I always draw. You see, Nikki was made for a plethora of reasons, just like Ward was. We have the aspect that, number one, of course, he's just a pretty dude, and I wanted the self-insert to have a pretty guy with them because, you know, who the fuck wouldn't? Like, who wouldn't do a self-insert and then make the character or love interest involved with them that they think would be like a beautiful love interest? That's like everybody, we know that, right? But another reason he was made was for the sole purpose that I wanted a comfort character. And whenever I didn't have someone to talk to, which was a good amount growing up, or felt lonely, or felt like I needed to speak my mind, that character, Nikki, was made for that purpose. And on top of that, if I had someone, even if it was in my own imagination, to let out a lot of those feelings with, then I wouldn't ultimately feel so alone. Not everybody has a place to go to and talk whenever they're feeling down, and, you know, I didn't have that growing up. So, ultimately a defense mechanism of a character manifested in my head, so this way I wouldn't have to feel that way all the time. So, putting both of them together in the same headspace and then coupling up both of them together kind of created a comfort couple for myself, even though Ward is a reflection of myself. So, there's that. And I think that's fine. I think that younger Ward had to do what she had to do to, you know, stay sane. And if this was a defense mechanism created to make sure she doesn't feel so out of touch with the world, then that's what she had to do. So, these two characters ended up staying with me, of course, for a very long time. Especially, well, Nikki, because he's still that kind of comfort character that I draw whenever. Do I kind of put them in the same situations where I have to talk to them or like mentally kind of talk through things as much? Not really. Mainly because I've kind of learned how to deal with emotions. I have had more outlets now that I'm grown and know how to express and communicate feelings much better. So it took a long while to understand everything and have my own kind of sense of direction when it comes to all this, but I'm there, and I still love these two characters, and I still draw them often, and their dynamics have kind of changed over the years, and their purposes, or multi-purposes. Now, more than ever, I kind of just put these two in romanticized scenarios, or just like, you know, kind of what you would see in like webtoons or manga, and, you know, I actually tried drawing that out at some point, and that was a huge, oh my god, that was a huge embarrassment, guys. Like, I tried putting them in the whole scenario thing, and I made up this really shit story, and I had like the entire chapter drawn out, and I was like, I'm gonna post it to webtoon, I'm gonna do it, this is it. And then I like reread it after I finished everything, and I'm like, wow, this is so fucking bad. I sat down and reread it, and I was like, oh my god, like, I can't post this. This is, number one, it wasn't drawn well. Remember, this was 4 years ago, and my drawing skills have only ever really gotten better in the last 2 years, and man, it was drawn bad. On top of that, the story was kind of like everywhere. It moved way too quick, especially for the first chapter, and I just was like, yo, every time I go back and read it, I cry a little bit from like how hard I'm laughing, just because it was so fucking embarrassing. I told myself that I would let you guys decide if you'd ever want me to read that kind of failed webtoon on here, then please let me know, either through like likes or comments or something, just so I know you guys are interested in me embarrassing myself, because it was really bad, guys. Like, I'm sorry, this shit is awful. But it's okay, because I told myself, let's do an entire chapter, and I worked really hard on it for a good like month or so, and I was like, I'm gonna do this, and I was proud of myself for even being, I guess, that vulnerable to a degree and making the entire chapter out and everything, and ultimately, you know, setting that goal for myself that I can do something. But of course, last second I changed my mind. But the whole point was that I did it. so I did it, and I was happy that I did it. And honestly, if I could go back in time and say not to do it to myself, I wouldn't, because that was the thing that I needed to jumpstart the confidence in me to draw and to be comfortable with myself and ultimately just accept who I am. So yeah, that's basically everything, I guess you could say. I guess we could talk more so about the character design now. So from the original Ward drawing in 2019 versus this one now, there are some major differences, as you could tell. Number one, I've learned how to draw fat people properly because she doesn't look fat enough to be me, and I think that this newer character that I've drawn right here is much more aligned with like my body type, so I think that is off the bat like such a huge change. Oh my god. The second thing is, of course, like the most obvious, the clothing style. The other one kind of just wears a t-shirt and jeans and like some weird ass shoes, like some fucking things from like 1890. It just didn't make any sense as to why I put that on the character. So so there's that. She also looks much more like reserved, I'd like to say. She still kind of has the sweet face like this new OC does, but she didn't look as like out there. The color scheme, funnily enough, is kind of still there. I still have that blue dress on, which is kind of like an homage to that blue shirt, which is actually funny. Guys, I don't even really like blue like that. I like the skyish blue, and I like it paired with other colors, but on its own, not really. So I don't know why I draw so much of it. It's actually kind of weird. I should really think about that one of these days. But anyway, the old drawing didn't have any accessories, didn't really have much of a personality to it as well. The hair is a completely different texture. I drew her with straight hair when like I don't have that. Like super curly like hair, and I was like, okay, let's translate that onto the newer character, and I'm glad I did. So the newer character also has like some aspects that, you know, I would wear, which would be like the shoes, the jewelry, the bag, the makeup, all that kind of stuff. And I feel like she definitely reads much more actual Ward than well, not actual Ward, much more of an updated Ward, I should say, because I've changed so much within the span of 4 years, and I've accepted a lot of my femininity and how I dress and how I look and how I talk and, you know, all that stuff. So I feel like this one right here is much more aligned with who I am now personally. And I wouldn't say the old one wasn't aligned with the old Ward, because it was. It's just that I'm a different person now. So I think over time you can see that within your own art too. If you draw yourself, if you see how you drew yourself way back when versus now, and, you know, kind of put in all the stuff that you have now versus then, it'll show like a huge difference between the two. And I'm happy that I could say that I have grown this much, and that past Ward would have never thought future Ward would have ever become this feminine, and happy with the fact that she does, you know, embrace it. So I'm really, really happy with how the character came out. She looks very endearing, very sweet, and I love it. I really do. I thought that it might end up going horribly just because I was very nervous to kind of draw out New Ward, because then I'd have to realize who New Ward was, and I like her. I really do. I think that she's a beautiful character, and I'm so happy that I've given her this update because she deserves it. I'd love to hear what you guys think. Is it an upgrade? Is it a downgrade? I really hope not. Please don't tell me it's a downgrade. Do you think that the new character looks better and all that stuff? I'd love to hear what you think. So yeah, thanks for watching, and remember, I love you. Bye.